Well, as you know, it's been a confusing week of economic data, some good, some bad. I want to try to take some stock of the week and all the numbers that we've gotten with John Allison. He's the former chairman and CEO of BB&T. He's currently a business professor at Wake Forest University and a member of the Job Creators Alliance. He joins us from Washington. John, good to see you. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Where's your head right now in terms of the numbers we're getting and looking ahead into latter half of the first half and into the second half? Is this something that can be sustainable through year end?
Well, I think the good news is we're having some kind of economic recovery. The bad news is the economic recovery is dramatically weaker than it ought to be at this point in a recession recovery cycle. We're driving much slower job creation growth. We're driving much slower GDP growth than would be normal. And the irony is we've spent trillions of dollars that's actually been counterproductive. And so we're worse off physically and at the same time have a worse outcome, even though things are getting better. But we have a very resilient entrepreneurial economy that's actually overcoming government obstacles to job creation.
Yeah. How much of this do you think, we've asked this question a couple times today, can we really divorce the strong numbers we've gotten, these auto sales from yesterday, a 15 million annual run rate? How much of that is just the fact that it was warm and people felt comfortable leaving their homes to go check out a car on a lot?
I think it's a big deal. The weather's been unusually good, and we haven't had the traditional bad weather that slows economic activity. And so I think it is dangerous to be overly optimistic. And the other thing is, when you talk to business leaders, particularly small business leaders, not only are they being killed by regulation, they know that they're facing potentially massive tax increases, and they don't see any plan to deal with that. So there's a lot of fear, even in companies that are doing okay in terms of investing and creating jobs. So there's just a cautiousness that's not traditional at this point in the economic cycle.
Yeah. I want to get your take on Tim Geithner's op-ed in the Journal today. He references his wife who says, hey, what happened to all the people who were calling, begging you for help in the heights of the crisis, now criticizing regulators, criticizing policy? As he says, some people are suffering from a bout of amnesia in terms of where we were when things were bad. How much of that is true? How much leeway are you willing to give him as some of these regulations get written?
I think that the regulatory onslaught on the banking business has been incredibly destructive. And I'll just speak for me. BB&T, we didn't ask for help. We got it whether we liked it or not. They forced TARP on us. We didn't want the money. And the price has been enormous. And it's classic. You have a few firms that do something bad, and you punish the whole industry, including the good guys. And today, literally today, BB&T, and I would say every commercial bank in the United States, we're not making loans we ought to make to small businesses. We're not helping people that we would ordinarily help because the regulatory onslaught continues. And if you look at loan growth in the U.S., it's all big companies because the credit standards are so high in big companies. Small companies are having a hard time accessing capital because of this regulatory onslaught. So
are you? I'm sorry, finish your thought. Go ahead.
Well, I think, Geithner kind of forgets, personal experience. I tried to talk to Paulson and Geithner and Bernanke as this financial crisis was unfolding. They wouldn't talk to the healthy banks. So it's kind of selective memory on his part.
Yeah, as some have argued that this morning, even as he tells people to remember the crisis, which, as I said earlier this morning as well, kind of sounds like remember the Alamo in some ways. John, appreciate your insight. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
John Allison, former head of BB&T, currently with Wake Forest. A lot more to come from our second home in the second city. In honor of us being in Chicago today, Yelp's IPO, of course.